So how are you before I
I've never been better, to be honest. It's just things are great right now. Business is
awesome.
good. Family's healthy.
It's
For
good to
me,
hear.
for me, family's everything. So yeah, things are great.
It is.
Things are really good. How are things with you? I
Good.
freaking love what you do on your
Oh,
page.
thank you.
Your niece was too cute on that one video.
I can't.
Oh my gosh, she was way too cute. Yeah.
She always,
How old is she?
she's 2.5. So,
Aren't they the best?
oh my God. I am obsessed. I never knew how obsessed I would be, and I like want to see her all day and night.
It's I was with my nephew last night, and and the biggest shift my nephew's created in my life, where it's not about you. It's about what comes after you.
Yeah,
It was just they're a gift. They're a
they are.
gift. Like
They
the
are.
questions that he was asking me was like he was just like, "Oh my God, wait, so you have your own business?" He's like, "You don't have to call your boss?" I'm
Oh.
like, "I am my boss." What? He's like to
Yeah.
him it's just like, it's
And
the
it's like
best.
that's gonna affect. I mean, this is so good because it kind of really leads into like everything that I want to talk to you about
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur. But I think that's the best thing that any of us could really do is that,
Mm.
if we can teach like these younger, kids whether they're related to us or not and
Yeah.
lead by example and show them what you're able
Mm.
to do. And days aren't going to be easy, and then there are going to be there's so many ups and downs, there's so many different parts of it, but you can be any of it, you can
Yeah.
do any of it.
Yeah.
And then to have that person in their life though that they can go to and they can rely on, it's like I want to be that forever, for her.
Oh my, yeah. Yeah, it becomes like, oh my God, I gotta step into this identity now.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta step into my best self. Not for me, but because they're always watching.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
so much,
Yeah.
so much. I might as well introduce everyone to you. Since we're here talking, and I love this whole conversation anyway. Is you are Warner Trejo? Am I saying that right? Trejo?
Yeah, you're saying it right. Yeah.
And you have your own podcast that I think is amazing. Actually, we found each other on Instagram.
We did.
And I started looking at all of your posts and I was like, wow, these are so motivating. And
Huh.
I, like these are the people you need in your life. And I think creating the platform that you have on social media is what we need now more than ever. I always say, like, I wake up in the morning and I try not to jump on social media and see things that I don't want to see and get it in my mind. But like when I
Right.
scroll and I see your posts, you're the kind of
Aw.
posts that you want to wake up and see first thing in the morning, your blog or
Thank you, algorithm.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And we'll get right into it. How did you start? I guess everything that you're doing, to stay in the big show and
Yeah.
your career. How did you get started?
Oh wow, I love that question. I love that question because it takes me back. Um, and I, I, man, yeah. So I always knew, since I can remember, I always knew I wanted to not work for somebody. I didn't know what that meant.
Mm,
I didn't know what entrepreneurship meant. I didn't know what becoming a business owner meant. I didn't know what anything. I just knew. I When I was younger, people called it, "Oh, you're not coachable." It wasn't that I wasn't coachable. It's just that I had a bigger vision,
mm,
and I think it's important to differentiate the two. And so for me, I always knew, like, dude, I think different from you. I was always the kind of guy where people would be like, "Well, do you remember this in school? You got to show your work."
yes.
I'm
Yeah,
like, why? I got the same answer. I don't need to show you how I got it. Like,
I
I
like that.
freaking got the answer, right? That was me. Like with everything, I questioned everything. I always wanted to know what was easier, and so, you know, I always had that in me. Even in sports, it was just like I was always the kid who wanted to be creative, a creative past, because it just I was like, why do I have to? I don't have to go around the. My mentor says you don't have to walk around the block to knock on the door next door, right? You just
That's
go
right.
next door,
Yeah.
and so I feel like too many times school taught me to walk around the block to knock on the door,
Mm,
and I was just like, why? What if I just go knock on the door? Why do I need a master's degree if I could just go, right? And so I didn't know what that meant. It was just these juices that were going in me. And I found constant dissatisfaction with where I was in my career previously. Like I would work for someone and it was a good job, but I hated it. And so I knew it wasn't a job that was going to satisfy that void. It was like what I found out, it was that I didn't have purpose to it.
Mm.
And so for me, purpose meant everything. And I didn't know this my whole life. I've had, it's funny because like when you're in school, you have teachers, you have counselors, you have teachers' aides, you see your counselor twice a semester. Then you go to college and you got the same thing. You have a guidance counselor, a transfer counselor, a coach, and then life happens and you don't have anything.
Oh, so
right?
true.
You're just,
That's so
you're
true.
just like, you're like, dude,
That's
I
so
just spent
true.
25 years of my life
So
getting assistance from people, and all of a sudden I got to hit life on my own.
oh my
Like,
God. Whoa.
and yeah, and I mean, everybody can relate, right? Like, just this whole idea of, well, life hits you in the face. Well, it's not that life hit you in the face. It's just that there was no one there to guide you through
Yeah.
it, right?
Ah,
And so I didn't know how to find a mentor. I didn't know how to look for a mentor. I didn't know how to come through a mentor. I didn't even know what mentorship meant, to be honest. For me, I thought mentorship meant was someone's book that I read. I was like, oh yeah, they're a mentor of mine. That's not mentorship. That's just influence, right? So long story short, a good friend of mine, his father had passed away, and and through that, he reconnected with someone we went to college with, and that person that we went to college with knew, it was like a connection of a connection, and essentially I get called and they're like, hey yo, meet me at Starbucks, and I meet the CEO of this company there at Starbucks. I didn't know he was a CEO. I didn't know who the heck he was. For me, it was just like this middle-aged white guy. And we connected and we started talking about baseball. Well, he started talking about baseball. I was like, I'm not that big of a baseball. I like baseball, but I was like, I'm more of a basketball fan. But anyways, we stayed connected. We stayed connected. We stayed connected. After like 7 months, he goes, I was curious as to what this guy did. I knew he was a CEO, but I didn't know of what. So I'm like, what's this? Why does this guy talk to me? That was my curiosity, right? I was like, why does this guy talk to me? By the way, guys, if you're looking for a mentor, find a mentor that cares about you,
Oh, that's good.
right? I think that's important.
Yeah.
So he cared about me. So I'm like, whatever. I finally asked him, what do you do? What do I gotta do? Right? He goes, nice, come down to my office. I'll let you know. So I go down to his office, and 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 he's telling me, the first question he goes, it's who are your mentors? And I'm like, oh, dude, Tony Robbins,
Yeah. Yeah.
Les Brown, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
At the time, Ed Milet was brand new
Yeah.
into the social media space, and I'm like, Ed Milet, and he goes, really? Ed Milet's your mentor? I'm like, oh yeah. Max out. And he goes, you really got to meet my wife. And I'm like, oh, this is some weird stuff happening now.
Yeah.
So his wife comes into the office, and he tells his wife, he goes, Warner here says that Ed Milet's his mentor.
Oh no.
And I don't know what mentorship
I
means,
would,
mind you.
I honestly,
Yeah,
I think most people would say the same thing. Like that's what we would.
Yeah.
I would probably do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she goes, oh, you know Eddie. And I'm like, I don't know who the hell Eddie is.
Yeah.
And she starts laughing and he starts laughing, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, I mean Ed Milet. And I look at him and I'm like, what?
Right.
What it?
Totally.
And he goes, do you want to know where he made most of his fortune at? And I was like, yeah, I thought it was in real estate.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, he made it here. And I'm like, what? Which is in finances.
Right.
And then he points to his wife and he goes, that's Ed Milet's sister. So shout out to Michelle Schleiman, shout out to Christopher Schleiman. They're my personal mentors. They changed my life.
That's incredible.
But
that story is incredible. But
when I found out where I was and what I can do,
yeah,
that changed my life. And this is why I share this with you. I think for too long, I let time go by and I didn't take action. Like, did I think it was weird that a middle-aged white guy was messaging me? Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Did I think it was weird that he wanted me to go to his office? Absolutely. But you know what? I took the chance.
Did it? Yeah.
I was like, what if I decide I'm never going to see him? What if I decide I never want to meet him? I don't get a chance to change my life.
Right. Yeah. And
And
maybe,
so,
I
and
mean,
so, no, go ahead.
no, this alone, what you're
Yeah,
saying. I mean, I think what you're saying and people watching it'll change them and make them maybe walk into someone's office that they don't expect to. So, you know,
give yourself a chance.
yeah.
Let yours, and this is why I say that, because for 25 years of my life through the whole school system, this is what they taught me: follow instructions and don't fail.
Mm.
You know what life taught me? Throw the instructions away and fail fast. Fail more and fail often.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean you don't be disciplined. Instructions and discipline are two different things,
Mm.
right? But what I realized is that, oh my God, I was told that this is the right way of living. And I was like, you don't judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So for me, it was like, oh my God, I got to find something that I'm passionate about. And then I met someone through Christopher who saw something in me that I didn't see yet. There was no way I could have taught anybody how to go make 10, 15, 20,000, because I didn't make that yet.
Right. Oh,
I'm like trying to figure out, can I go make 2,000? Right? Like,
exactly.
can I get somebody to tell me, yeah, here's a job with a 401k? Like, I'm trying to figure out that identity.
Yeah.
And so for me to meet someone, did I think it was weird? Yes. Was I skeptical? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I gave myself the chance. The faster you fail at something, the faster you'll figure out if it's for you or not. And I kind of see careers like dating. Like, give someone a date.
Yeah.
If you like them, give them a second date.
Because you never
I'm not
know.
telling you go out with them. Yeah, I'm not saying go marry the guy.
Right.
Right? Go find out what his name is.
Exactly.
And that was the biggest thing for me. And one of the questions I remember him asking me was he goes, what do you make now? And at the time I was working at a design firm, and I'm like 80,000. But I didn't tell him it was before taxes.
Right.
It was more like 50,000, but I was like 80,000. I was like, with my head high.
Yeah.
And he says this. He goes, is that in a good month or is that in a bad month? And I was like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, I was looking around and I'm dude, that's in a
You're
year.
Like, that's a whole year.
That's a whole year. And he goes, it takes you a year to make that much? This is the second thing that shifted. Number one was who I was with. It came from an unknown source, an unexpected source. So number one, give yourself the ability to go fail. Give yourself the ability to go figure things out. The second part was, it wasn't just his associations, but the opportunity.
Right.
I used to think 100,000 was a lot of money. It's a great income. Right. I'm not saying it isn't. If you're making 100,000, kudos to you. Right. But then I thought 100,000 W2 is different from 100,000 1099.
Oh yeah.
I get to take more with me, and I don't have a boss.
Oh yeah.
And then the biggest shift was when he said in a month. I'm like, I could turn my yearly income into a monthly one.
Right. And it changes your life.
Like, yeah, absolutely. It's like if I were to ask you, if I offered you $30,000 cash at the end of every month, but all you had to do was clean dog poop from my backyard, would you do it?
Right. I mean, sounds easy enough.
I mean, that's all you had to do. You had to clean dog poop from the backyard.
The rest of your days are fine. Yeah.
You'd probably say, yeah, I'll do it for 30,000.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking at what you're doing. You're looking at it. It's not the income, it's the outcome.
Right.
So the biggest shift for me was, I didn't have a passion for finances, but you know what I did have a passion about? I had a passion for changing my life.
Good.
I had a passion for, you know what? I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of going through the broke through. Can I have a breakthrough? Can I give myself a chance? Can I believe in me? Can I believe in God? Gave each and every one of us this bag. And in this bag, you have baking soda, chocolate, whipped cream, sugar. It's your responsibility to put it together and make the cake that is you. Right? So good. And so for me, it was just like, oh my God, this guy knows how to make cake. I'm not passionate about it, but I know how it's going to change my life. dude,
Do it.
let's get,
Yeah.
let's do it. And so that for me was the biggest shift was I think for too long I was trying to look for what I was passionate about.
Yeah. And you hear that,
And
like that's this
I
thing.
so common.
And I think it frustrates a lot of people because,
Mhm.
you know, some people want to maybe just keep their passion. They don't want to turn it in, figure out how to do that because then it stops being their
Yeah.
passion. And I think some people really do want to make money and
Yeah.
know how to make money and are saying like, okay, that's my passion, that's fine, but show me how to
Yeah.
do this, how to make money. So I absolutely, yeah. Mhm.
Everybody loves, I'm gonna use pro sports as an analogy.
Yeah,
We love pro athletes.
absolutely.
Kids love pro athletes because they chase their dreams.
Mhm.
Adults love pro athletes because of the income that they make.
Right.
Do you know what separates a pro athlete from an amateur athlete? Their work ethic and talent.
Mhm.
They put in the work.
Right.
They put in the work and they put in the work. A professional athlete, their life is you cannot you're you're not eating out.
No.
You're disciplined in what you're eating. You're working out 3, 4, 5 times a day.
Yeah. No one
Like
sees that.
no one sees that, right? Business is the exact same thing.
It is.
Like, you know what this has allowed me to do? It gave me the freedom to now I can fund my passion.
Mm, that's huge.
Right?
That is huge,
For sure.
and we don't have that opportunity a lot of the time, and people are struggling and they spend 30, 40 years in a job that they hate trying to get money to maybe do the one little thing that they love to do for 2 hours a weekend.
That's the biggest scare.
Yeah.
It's just like I'd rather go out and spend the next 1 to 3 years failing and
Mm,
figuring it out than to be comfortable for the next 40 and never live my dream.
yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think more people need to
Like,
think that way and see it from that perspective.
yeah, I mean, you're always gonna have the 1%.
Yeah.
Always gonna have the 1%. It's your choice whether you're gonna be a part of that 1% or not.
Mm,
Like,
mm,
it's not like, oh, I was born an outlier. Dude, I was born broke.
right.
I was born broke. You know why I'm good at talking? Because I didn't have video games. So all I had to do was talk. Like, like I was like, I grew up without video games. Like I don't go to any places. It's funny because growing up, I used to move schools like twice, 3 times a year.
Oh my God.
But my dad, the way he would tell me this as a kid was like, dude, it's a new adventure.
So you had a different perspective on
So my perspective was, oh,
it.
every time
Right.
I was like, I'm meeting new friends. It's a new
Yeah.
adventure. We were
Good.
really broke.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford this rent, so we had to go some
Right.
cheaper
Yeah.
place. But why do I share with that?
Huh.
Because sometimes we look at things and we're like, oh, I'm not this. Well, become that.
Right. Look at
Become
it
that.
in a different way. See it.
Like don't see with the it's not what life is doing this to me. No, life is doing it for you.
Yeah.
What strengths are coming out of that?
Ugh,
Right? Like, and I think it's always tough to look at the lesson while you're going through it.
it is. It is. It is.
But one of the biggest things that helped me out was journaling. As I journaled, I realized, dude, I could now see why I went through that because it calloused my mind or it calloused my emotion or it gave me emotional intelligence or it gave me, going back to your question about my story in the business, it gave me an opportunity to a business where maybe a different version of me wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
Right?
That
It's
actually,
not that.
yeah. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
that leads into a question that I had was like, what do you do? And journaling, I think, is a really good step to getting there. And I think that's
Right.
a great tip to give to everyone to say, like, hey, like if you're lost or you're confused or you do want to get to this big goal that you have, journaling is so important. It gets everything out. It makes you see what you used to think when you can
Yeah.
go back to it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you could, it's hard to go back to that emotional state and be like, what was I thinking there?
It is, yeah.
Right. And I think the big thing with journaling, it puts me back in that place and be like, oh, I could now break it down from a different it's hard to see the picture while you're inside of the frame.
It is very hard.
Right. So a big part of journaling is that you can always go back and not be in that frame of mind
Mm,
and deconstruct that.
mm,
So yeah, for me, journaling it's a lot, dude. Mentors do that for you.
yeah, yeah.
Mentors give you the big picture. Like, you
It's
know, it's I'll give you an example. Gyms, people think gyms are in the business of fitness. No, gyms are in the business of memberships.
Mhm.
They don't care. They don't care if you're fit or not. Are you paying your membership?
Right. Yep.
Personal trainers are in the fitness industry
Mm.
because they don't get paid if they don't get your goals. You know what a mentor is? A mentor is like a personal trainer.
Yeah. Oh,
They're vested in your goals.
oh, that's like seems like
Coach,
the most important personal trainer to have is a
you're
mentor.
right. You want someone. You want someone. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Like you want someone. And by the way, guys, I see this a lot. I see people finding mentorship outside of the business, and it's not that that's wrong,
Mm,
but it's important to also have a mentor inside of the industry you want to succeed in,
mm.
right?
That makes sense.
If I want business advice, guess who I'm not gonna go to? My broke uncle
No.
or my broke parents. But too many people are like, oh, well, I need to get this approval through my
Yeah.
family. Why? They
No.
don't have successful businesses.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna go through them?
No.
If 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 I want marriage advice, I'm not gonna go to the person that got
Worse.
divorced 3 times,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
It's true. So
And
true.
so there's certain like blockages that keep us from progressing because we have these things of, oh yeah, it's funny. I had somebody tell me the other day, all money decisions, I have to go through them with my family. I said, really? I'm like, okay. So I
Yeah.
took out $100 and I'm like, here you go. Do you want it? You can have it if you take it.
Yeah.
And as they reached out for it, I said, oh, but wait, you got to consult with your family because you make all money decisions with them.
Oh, it's such a good point.
So so the real trigger, the real blockage wasn't that they have to consult with family.
No,
It's that systematically they think, oh my God, I have to make this decision with them.
it's in their head.
And
Yeah.
I think too many of us, we keep that from actually saying, you know what? I'll give you a better example. Instead of consulting people that haven't won, why don't you just go out there and figure it out?
Do it. Yeah. Do it.
Whether it takes you 2 months, 6 months, 6 years,
Yeah.
does it matter? It's your dream.
Exactly. Oh, that's so good. It's so good. It's so true. And I think we do spend so much time talking to the wrong people, even friends,
Yes.
like I always say, I'm like, I wouldn't get fashion advice from someone who I was wearing, sweatpants all day. Like I got to go to the person who's, working or being who I want to be or doing what I want to do and
Yeah.
get that advice from them, or the one who's been successful in the fashion industry, the one who's been successful in creating a beauty brand. Why
Right.
it's great to ask your family, it's great to have conversations. Shouldn't say ask conversations with your family, but they're not the
Yeah.
ones that you go to that are not in that industry. They're not the ones that are going to give you the advice.
For sure.
But we're so used to, and that kind of reflects back on what you were saying. When we're kids and we grow up with teachers and all these people directing us, we are not taught to, we're used to our parents or someone in our lives being
Yeah.
people and not finding the real mentors and the real people that we need later on in our life when we go out into
Yeah.
the world and try to figure it out.
Well, think about it. Like our whole life,
Yeah.
we're told consistently as kids, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers. You know what that's called as an adult? It's called networking, dude.
Oh, wow. It's so true.
Right? You know what I want you to do as an adult and as a business owner? Go talk to strangers.
Oh my God. And so
But
many people, yeah.
there's a 25-year blockage that told you don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers. What's
Wow.
the one thing? I don't you're Italian, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's when you would go to somebody else's house, what did your family tell you not to do in somebody else's house?
Oh my God. I mean, Italian, there's so many things not to, I mean, you mean in regards to talking to people, like not
Oh,
talking?
so I'll give you my example with
Yeah.
like don't ask for anything,
Yes.
don't
Don't
touch
touch
nothing,
anything. Yeah.
don't talk to nobody.
Yes.
It's an adult. Dude,
Adults
like
talk, kids don't. Yeah.
so as adults,
Yeah.
we're so
We're like
that
this,
stays
like
in. Yeah, like I'm not
terrified.
gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna look at you. I'm
Don't
not gonna say
move.
anything to you. I'm not gonna ask for
Yeah.
anything. You know what
Wow.
now? You know what entrepreneurship is? Constantly asking for help.
I,
You know
you're,
what? You know what networking is? Constantly meeting new people, strangers,
you are.
and
Wow.
it's like well, but I know that because dude, I'm the king of failure. Like I fail all the time. But you know what? That's why you win.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
the quicker you fail, the quicker you know
Pick it
something
up.
doesn't work.
Yeah, you are making me. It's funny because I have a big issue with asking. And something as I get older, I'm working on even more, but asking and networking was something I hated. I mean, oh, put me in a, put me on a stage with 1,000 people and talk to them, no problem.
Yeah.
Put me in a tiny room with a group of people, I have to go up to them and talk to them. Get out of here. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But it it makes sense what you're saying.
It's
That mind programming is
yeah.
wow. How would
It's
you suggest breaking away from that, or like shifting away from all those patterns that we have when we're younger?
That's a great question. It's a really good question because I think that comes back to associations.
Mm.
Um, if everyone in your circle had a six pack with abs,
Yeah.
I can almost, I don't want to say guarantee, but it's very likely that you're gonna be, you know what, I'm gonna get a six pack with abs,
I agree. Yep, you're right. It is.
right?
Yeah.
If everyone in your circle that's fitness. Now let's talk income. If everyone in your circle made over 500,000, guess what? You're probably gonna figure out ways of how to make 500,000.
Huh. True. So
So,
who do you
so
surround yourself
we,
with?
we are a reflection to where we're surrounding ourselves,
Mm.
because we think of surrounding ourselves with people that we care about. Yes, that's very true, but it's also you're surrounding yourself with their habits and their disciplines.
Ooh.
And I love my family, but I can love them from a distance.
Yes, yes. And think about you. I mean, that should make you really think, what am I surrounding myself with?
Absolutely.
How am I being influenced? What's around me every day?
There was a point where people around where I made the most money in my circle,
Mm.
and that was 50,000 after taxes.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
But then I got into a circle. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, get out.
You're in the wrong room, right? So then I surrounded myself. My circle started to change.
Mm.
My circle started to change. Where all of a sudden people look at me and they're like, "Dude, how do you pay bills with that?" My mentor told me, he goes, "How much you make last month?" And I was like, it was a good month for me. It was like 12 grand. And he goes, he literally says, "How do you pay your bills with that?"
And you're like,
Like, but this is, instead of taking offense to it,
no.
the way I saw it was, oh my God, the level he's playing the game at, it's a whole different perspective.
Yes.
You want to know a fun example? If you went to Monaco, Monaco is like
Yeah.
very prestigious place, right? If you went to Monaco and you went there during the holidays, it's packed with every hotel sold out, all the yachts are packed out, all the restaurants are reserved.
Mm.
You know why? Because there's a lot of people in the world making a lot of money doing something for themselves.
Mm. Mm.
But we're so stuck between, oh, but my group of people don't have it, therefore the rest of the world doesn't
Right.
have it.
Doesn't have it. Yeah. It's
That's
not
not true.
true. No.
That's not true. The golf courses are filled with memberships.
Oh.
The elite hotels and resorts are filled with reservations.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty. This world will never run out of opportunity
Mm.
or money.
Mm.
You
So
just got to figure out how to go get it.
yeah, how to
How
get
do
it.
I
Yeah.
how to get it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's what you are um great for, and I think that's why your podcast is so great. I say podcast, but you're also, I mean, IGTV is like,
Yeah.
I think they're so good, and I you're a resource for people to find this type of information and to learn how to step into those other groups and to raise, their thinking away from what they're used to and onto these like bigger, grander things and entrepreneurship.
Right.
And I feel like you make it easy for people
Hmm.
to understand it. I mean, I see it just from this conversation. You make it so easy for people to understand it. And um that's what we need more of, is more people like you. You tell a true story, and you show that it's possible in the ways that you're
Right.
doing things. And by putting it out there on a platform like IGTV, you make it accessible. And it's, that
Yeah.
information is not always accessible, or someone may be sitting there and doesn't even know where to start with a mentor or anyone. And I would say, hey, you're a great place for them to start.
By the way, the fact that you said that, the purpose of why I started it, the IGTV, the
Yeah.
podcasting, the branding, was because I didn't know where to start.
Hmm.
So I told myself I was always driven. I've always been charismatic and outgoing, and I struggled. Imagine if I wasn't those things.
Right. Right.
So the reason I created the platform was I want my platform to be a landing page for people to, dude, you can't find a mentor, go to my page. There's dozens of them.
Yes. Yes.
Go to my page and DM somebody.
Mm,
I think, and that's what I love about social media.
it is.
Guys, you can like for free. You can comment on somebody's page for free. You can share their captions for free. You can DM them for free. You can react to their story for free. Like Instagram is saying, dude, use my platform.
There's
And
no
you're like,
excuses.
yeah, there's no excuses.
None. Ugh,
And that's one of the reasons I created it, because I struggled with like, what's a mentor? How do I find it? Where do I go? And I was like, what if I created a platform where I bring the mentors to you?
yeah. Yeah.
And you can say, you know what? And even the bigger picture, the staying in the big part of the picture,
Yeah.
it's this idea of, you'll realize at its root, the common denominator, it's all the same.
Hmm.
It's not that I'm passionate about, it's not that I'm passionate for what I'm doing. I'm passionate that of people in fitness are not passionate about sit-ups and squats.
No.
They're passionate about the results they get from sit-ups and squats.
Such a
Right?
good point. Yeah.
Like getting abs, the diet for getting abs sucks.
Yeah.
Because I like In and Out.
No one wants
I
to
like
do that.
dairy. I like I'll see sometimes you'll post like what you're
Yeah,
cooking. And by the way, your cooking is amazing.
thank you.
So it's just like, I'll look at that and sometimes I'm like, there's like, how am I gonna get abs with this?
Yeah.
But guess what? My passion isn't in the diet, my passion is in the result. Business, entrepreneurship, opportunity, it doesn't have to be your passion. Be passionate about the result.
Oh,
Be passionate about the fact that it's going to change your life. Be passionate about the fact that your kids will never have to live the life you live. Be passionate about the fact that you'll be the example for the parents. You'll be an example for your siblings. You'll be an example for your cousins. Be passionate about the fact that moving forward, your generations will never, ever know what it was to be broke.
oh.
That's what you should be passionate about.
Ooh. You are, and I don't have any words left. I have no words left, because that just says everything. I mean, I mean, that's it. That's what we have to do. And that's what everyone has to do now. If this is what you want, that is hitting goals is your passion,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Someone, she's a very successful entrepreneur. She told me that she goes, if you want a successful man, be okay with him working. If you want a family man, be okay with being broke.
Yep, I agree 100%.
You can have both, but at some point the sacrifices have to be made.
They do. I mean, they really do. That's just a simple, very easy way to look at it and understand it. And I think if everybody gets real with themselves, they can answer that question very easily, for what they want.
Yeah, for sure.
Warner, you've been so amazing. This is just like, I love
it.
Oh,
this is fun.
I gotta have you back again, because I feel like I'm gonna sit here and think of like a million things that I want to know more about. But,
yeah, absolutely.
Where can everyone find you?
So they can find me. First of all, you got to follow Dawn.
Oh, thank you.
That's the only way you can follow me, is that if you follow her. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can find me through on her page. If you go to her page and follow her first, you can look at her followers. My name is Warner Trejo. I'll be under there. And feel free to send me a DM.
Yeah.
Feel free to send me a DM, and I'm always open. I answer to all my DMs. I try to answer as soon as possible.
You do.
But I answer to all.
Like you make it comfortable, and that's amazing that you do. It really is.
And a lot of that stems from because I struggled with it before, and I want to be the person I wish I had in my life. And if I can be that for somebody, then please allow me to be that.
You are. You are.
And so, yeah, we can chat, we can chop it up, we can chop business, we can chop branding. And if you're interested in going to make 10, 15,000, then let's go. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. Making money is not one of them.
I think a lot of people are going to come to you.
Yeah.
A lot of people, yeah. Thank you so much, Warner. It was an amazing talk, and I think there's just going to be a lot that comes out of it. So Thank you so
Oh,
much
this was
for your
fun.
time today. It was great talking to you.
This was amazing.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
you. Thank you for the honor, for the privilege,
Thank you.
and looking forward to having a chance again.
Definitely. Have a good night.
You too. Take care.